Hi there, and welcome back to filmschoolstudent.com. Today I have two beautiful writers who graduated from Vancouver Film School. Well, why don't I get you guys to introduce yourselves?
Okay, my name is Alison, Kowalchuk.
I'm Jordana, Kalenchuk.
And when did you guys graduate?
August 15th?
August of 2007. Yeah, so about, 8 weeks ago.
Cool. So maybe tell us a little bit about your experience, your overall experience at VFS.
It started off pretty intense, and you're kind of like one of those eager students who wants to do really, really well and impress everybody. And it is a year-long program, which is quite a long time, and by about 8 months you're winding down a little bit and finding more of who you are, a bit of more of a sense of confidence, I guess, in yourself, so that it's, I guess for me, the last 4 months were more of a personal journey, more of exploring my own self as opposed to trying to impress everybody else and get good grades and all that kind of thing. So overall, it was a positive experience for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like a year of like life focusing, my teacher calls it, life focusing, because I mean, the stuff you're going to come out with, you have to rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. So it's not, you have anything really to come out with from film school, and except for you have a couple like port shorts and some sketches that you can show, but as far as like movies go, yeah, you write 2 movies, but they suck.
Yeah, like I went in expecting to have a portfolio coming out of it, of things I didn't really know whether it would be scripts or finished product on film or whatever, and I found that I didn't really have that. I had a lot of things that I'd started and not finished or weren't in any condition to show any person, so I guess at least it gives you something to work with after you graduate and you have no money and you have no time to write. But
So then what would you say is like the #1 thing you did take from film school that you gained from going there?
I think when you go in, you just like to write, and yeah, you like TV, you're like, you kind of think like, oh, I want to write something like Seinfeld or something like that. But then after you start to get to know your writing, you're like, well, maybe my writing isn't so much TV, it's more movies, and it gives you the chance to like write everything, and you kind of find your own little edge with it, because yeah, I mean, you can write everything essentially, but to start off, you kind of find your favorite or whatever and get confident in it. It's really confidence, really, and like to stand behind your work after it's down, to stand behind it, and to attract people in your life that also can get it and then build upon it, or else, you have to do it yourself.
Yeah, that was for me too. The biggest thing definitely was the confidence I got out of it, in knowing that I'm able to face this industry, I guess, on a level of equality that anybody else would be. I don't feel like I'm just, somebody who doesn't have anything to say, who doesn't have anything valuable to say. And I think also the people, and that's the biggest thing. And you get that confidence from the people you meet, right? From classmates was the biggest thing. Everybody, you just, after being together with them for a year, and there's 30 people in our class, you get to know them really well on a level of intimacy. Like when you're reading other people's stuff, and it's coming from a place of honesty, you feel like you know them. So, and that's something we'll have,
Yeah, and you're all on the same trip together. Like people came from a lot of different backgrounds, but you all kind of were on the same trip because it was different this time. It was just like
you're doing something you really want to be doing, and you all have this dream.
You understand each other, and which was really nice. It'd be more of a shock to just give it to someone else in the industry without going through that. And not understanding why it's not good.
Yeah, there's almost like this, you feel like you have support around you, like, you don't feel like there's people out there who, because they're told that there's people out there who don't want to hear what you have to say and want to throw your stuff in the garbage.
And there's always going to be like one teacher that gets you in the school.
Yeah.
There's always, like, there's a lot of teachers, and there's always at least 1 or 2 that get you, and so it's nice, because it's not just like for comedians, it's for horror writers, it's for like all different genres, and so.
What kind of genre are you guys?
Yeah,
comedy, definitely.
More comedy.
Because it's so funny.
So
and I don't like thinking in terms of genres, because I think that why not mix them up?
Everything's starting to cross over these days. Yeah,
it's stupid, and there's so many just guidelines, and we actually studied that in class. Like, if you were writing a horror, it has to be like this, and if you're writing something else, it has to be like this, and it's like, that's not interesting. Exactly. So for us, we're anything writers, and I'll write just about anything, but I do tend to lean towards comedy. And
you start to think comedically while
you can't help but you're like, even if it's like something really sad, you're like, I could put this one-liner in.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're trying to write a horror film or a script or whatever, and then you get a funny line of dialogue, and just you're like, I have to go write a new script now.
Right.
Yeah, just stick to that.
So if you're an aspiring writer, would you say that it's necessary to go to film school?
No.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. I think, although you say aspiring writer, and if you want to become a better writer, go to film school over any other kind of writing
It'll
school.
just take you
Right.
longer, I think,
Right.
if you try and go in a different way.
Oh, and you know, when
Yeah.
you learn how to write for film, your writing has got to be tight, and it has to be to the point, and you know, there's no room for, we call it fat in writing, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you don't have any room for that kind of stuff. And if you can nail that down, if you can nail down your message in as few words as possible, then you can write. Like, that's what I think it's about. So I don't think, for myself, it's not necessary. It definitely, now that I look back on it, was beneficial, and it was, of course, the stepping stone that I took to get where I am now. You know, I came from Edmonton, where there's not a whole lot going on, and that was my stepping stone, coming here, going to film school, and now I have like so much opportunity around me. So it's not necessary, but I guess I'd recommend it. It's not going to be what you expect.
I think as most writers they have a lot of ideas, they just know how to present it.
Right.
I think it just really gives you the opportunity and like the tools to be able to present it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So with that in mind, do you think that's the hardest part? What you do, the hardest part of writing?
Yeah, because when we first started, like, you think you can write, but you can't.
Yeah.
you really can't.
It's not until someone reads it, and then you're like,
and you're just
I
like,
suck.
Yeah.
and you're giving it in, you're just like, this is so good. And then,
Right, exactly.
yeah,
I know the feeling.
you read
I know
it
the
back
feeling.
like 5 months later, and you're like,
There's
wow.
What was I
nothing like-
thinking,
yeah.
you know?
You
Yeah.
can read something like 6 times, 60 times to yourself, and it's not until you have a group full of people who are all
Right.
reading it in front of you, and you just feel like it just completely changes it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that film school does. You know, it exposes you to a level of that where you're actually in the presence of these people, and they're giving you their opinions on your work, and that's priceless.
And
Right.
reading it out
That
loud
research.
too, because
Yeah.
reading it out loud, you're
Yeah,
just
that
like, wow,
changes
it's
it too.
cheesy, or I said
Yeah.
I said the same thing 5 times on the same page.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So then when you guys are writing, is there a technique you guys use to get ideas, or do they just come to you? Like,
Everybody's different.
yeah,
I
so what's yours?
Yeah, I think like you just get into the mode where you're always on idea mode.
We are.
Yeah,
Now.
like everything
Now
is like
we are.
idea mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I came, like I'd have, you know, the occasional idea here and there, and I'd just write it down somewhere. Get it
Right.
out of your head.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. Once it's in your head, it's gonna bug you until you get it
Write
out
it
of your
down,
head.
write it out.
And so do that. And going into film school, I was really worried. I was like, you know, I have my journal here, and I
Right.
have like my 10 ideas. What if there's people there who have hundreds of ideas, and
Yeah.
I'm the only one with 10 ideas? But I think like once you open this channel or this door of creativity or whatever, you start. Well, it's because you make it about your life. You make it like, we go out now. We call it research. We don't call it going out anymore.
Yeah.
We're doing research
Right.
for writing, and everything
It can't be like a
every
bad night.
day. No, because it could be the worst night, but at least you can write it, you know? And you can, yeah. So, I guess for me, I just take ideas down, and now I get, you know, dozens a day. I write down as many as I can, and then from there it's the next step. And I think once you have the idea and you just get to a feeling of goodness about it. You feel like it's a good idea. Nothing else matters as much. Like it's, you know, it sounds like, oh God, now I gotta write a script for it. It's not as hard. It's
Right.
So yeah, I guess that's how we do it. Or I do it.
You just know the process. You're comfortable with the process.
Right.
Like you might write 10 pages and be in love with it, and the next day you wake up and you're just like, oh, what was I writing?
Right.
And you're
Oh,
okay to delete 6 pages and
Yeah,
start again. You're
that's how
okay
it
because you're
works.
like, you know, it works like that. It's about rewriting. I remember when they said that, like, you're going to rewrite your script like 27 times. You're just like, but writing 100 pages once is hard.
Yeah, exactly.
But you just realize, and it's not even that 100 pages because you write those first 10 pages over and over and over again.
It's
But
just part of the process.
it is, but it's fun because you're just rediscovering things because it's not perfect and it's hard to get over that. Like, not everything you write is going to be good, but there is so many gems on that page that you just have to sift through.
Yep.
So much stuff to get to the real story, to get like the real honesty, what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So it's the hardest part I think of writing is getting over yourself and
Yeah.
taking yourself outside of the
It is.
outside
Yeah.
of the situation and being objective
Yeah.
and being an observer for it rather than